Hi, I'm Laura Thomas from laurathomasauthor.com. I'm an author and a book lover, and today I'm bringing you a book review for The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. She's the author of other beloved classics such as The Little Princess and Little Lord Fauntleroy. Now, this was originally published back in 1910, believe it or not. And I found this particular version on a recent trip back to England, and it is so beautiful that I really wanted to share it with you today. It's lavishly illustrated by MinLima, who are the award-winning design studio behind the graphics, incidentally, of the Harry Potter film franchise. Of course, there are many different editions of The Secret Garden, but this particular one, the cover is stunning. It's mustard and olive and scarlet, and it features images depicting scenes from the story. We'll take a peek at some of my favorite pages in a minute, but this entire book is chock full of gorgeous illustrations, right down to the page numbers. Whether this is a firm favorite on your list of children's classics, or whether you've never actually sat down and read it cover to cover before, I'm sure you're somewhat familiar with the story of The Secret Garden, but I'm going to cover the basics here without giving any major spoilers because it is all about the secrets. We begin back in India when 10-year-old Mary Lennox finds herself orphaned when both her parents die and leave her very much alone. She is shipped off to England to live with a reclusive uncle who she has never even met before. And he lives in this dreary old estate called Misselthwaite Manor. And this is where she begins this adventure and finds this secret garden right in the middle of the Yorkshire moors in England. Entitled and somewhat arrogant, Mary is unimpressed with life at the manor, and she's also further disturbed by the sound of crying at night, which comes from one of the 100 rooms. A curious private garden with the promise of hope and unfurled beauty captivates Mary's imagination, and she eventually shares her secret with Dickon and Colin, who eventually become her dearest friends. Together, they work in the garden and watch the magical transformation while experiencing growth in their own lives. Now let's look at the pros. You may, like me, experience all the nostalgia feels when it comes to The Secret Garden. I was taken back to Sunday afternoons as a child living on the south coast of England, spending Sunday afternoons at my grandparents' house, eating salmon sandwiches and watching The Secret Garden series on TV. But I digress. It's a children's book, but I think it's also deeply moving for any adult reader as well. So don't let that stop you. The characters are phenomenal and all so very different. And I feel like it could be used for a great springboard for conversation with children on things like encouragement and friendship, wealth, nature, lots of different topics. And you can obviously read this book anytime, but if you're a mood reader, I thoroughly recommend reading it in spring. It was perfect for me. Next, the cons. The main con that I found on all of the reviews that I've looked at is the Yorkshire dialect, because it can be confusing, and I'm from England, but it really is quite realistic. For example, "Thou and me are a good bit alike," he said. "He was woven out the same cloth. We're neither of us good looking, and we're both of us as sour as we look." If you can kind of get into that frame of mind, you'll be fine. Most other complaints were in reference to racism and classism, which you can probably put down to the fact that it was originally written in 1910. So you need to bear that in mind, folks. In summary, buds of restoration, healing, and happiness sprout from the pages of The Secret Garden as it continues to be a beloved book for all ages. This particular edition, illustrated by MinaLima, is stunning with its interactive elements and exquisite images throughout. It is an absolute delight to read. If you'd like a copy of The Secret Garden, I've included my links down below for Amazon and for HarperCollins. And if you could like this video and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any more reviews, that would be wonderful. And if you want to check out any of my books, I'm at laurathomasauthor.com. For now, thanks so much for listening and for watching, and happy reading.